Howdy gang, D Tidwell here, Enduro Mountain Bike Training. Check us out over there at the.com. Hey, video number 2 today. Last time we went through the ankle and the foot, right? We checked out the lower leg action, looking at the stability of the foot and the mobility of the ankle, and addressed some of the knee. Okay, so we went from bottom up. Now we're going to go from hip down and address the muscles that are essentially attaching at the knee and also attaching at the hip. Okay, so we have all our glutes, we have the IT band, hamstrings, quads, hip flexors, we got all those muscles, right? And we got to think, how can the hip muscles affect the function of the knee? Just like last time we said, well, how does the foot and ankle function affect the knee? Okay, so we go from the bottom up and then from the hip down. For some self-therapy techniques today. Cool? To review, remember, the body's a stable stacking segments of stable segments connected by mobile joints. So again, as a recap, stable section foot, mobile section ankle, stable knee, mobile hip, core is stable. Remember, we talked about how it's not just abdominals that the core is, it's also the glutes. Okay, the thorax was mobile. Okay, so we're gonna in the next few videos hit those upper body ones, but for now let's hit the hip down to the knee. And I want you to, like last time, think about using that as homework, right? So if you have knee issues, if you have hip issues, if you have lower back issues, if you have ankle or foot issues, all of these things for now can help you here in the off season, the beginning part of the year, improve the mobility and stability of those particular segments, which is important to us mountain bikers because we need particularly good foot function as it relates to contact on the pedal, and we need good ankle mobility in all planes of ankle function. So now I'm going to start with a bar. Now, if you don't have this setup, I'll show you some other stuff to do here in a second, but if you do have a gym, use the bar to help you roll through some of your lower leg stuff, right? A lot of you know that I had medial meniscus surgery on my left side in September, and it's still barking at me, and I'm not happy about it. But one of the things I do is I'm constantly going through some of the tissue that is still sore and or has been that way since before my injury that probably helped lead to it in the first place, from a compensation standpoint that goes way back to March of last year when I tweaked it originally. So all I'm doing on here, as you can tell, is just going through the leg musculature with a small diameter bar. So this is really going to increase the overall ouch feeling in factor. Again, go slow. Search and destroy by definition means find the tissue that's adhesed or bound up and move slowly through it. Go all the way down to the top of the heel and all the way up to the back of the knee. And I would say there's stuff in the back of the knee you can do on this as well. And you can even get into your groin stuff. If you've got a tight groin, sometimes I get in here, get way up to the attachment point. Excuse me while I take this off so you can see better. But I get way up into the groin attachment point, way up on in my pelvis. And I get that bar up in there, and I just roll through this pelvis stuff. And the hamstring as well, attachments up in there. If you get that bar right on top of that attachment point and just move that leg back and forth, you're going to get some good stuff in there. If you've had strained hamstrings, this is going to be a good one for you because you've got the weight of a leg that can actually help create the downforce to help work through the tissue. Okay, so by definition, search and destroy is just to go through any of those areas and try to find that tissue, understand it, work through it, breathe through the tough spots that might hurt, okay? So that's that one with the bar. Let's go over to my little section where I've got all the normal cell therapy tools hooked up and we're ready to go. So here I am with my foam roller. Now you guys probably know this. I'm gonna whip through it pretty quick because I do duplicate some of this stuff because it is that important. So roll through your butt cheek. Remember your butt cheeks all the way at the top of your ilium bone, basically at waistline, and all the way down to your sit bone. So you've got a good amount of area to cover there, especially if you've got a good little booty on you. Working all the way from the sacrum all the way through. Remember, get a little deeper, just cross that leg over and hit some of the deeper external rotators of the hip. And then IT band, you guys know this one. I say start at the knee and work real slow. We call it creep, just creep all the way through. And it's really not even IT band too, just so you know. It's more lateral quad, vastus lateralis that we're working through here. So think about that. And we'll go more lateral quad all the way into the quad itself. And then going through the hip flexor all the way to the front quad. Hit that front hip flexor. You can open the leg, you can close the leg, and then don't forget, you go groin after that to really help work the groin stuff, which we men typically have more than you women. So men, do your groin stuff. You can go back and forth. I know it looks a little funny, but guess what? When you're crushing through that tissue and it needs it, it's good for you, all right? So that's how I would do each side. And then don't forget the importance of doing lat work. So rolling through the lat on the side of the rib cage, then hitting all the armpit stuff where the lat goes through, your teres group goes through, and by doing that, just roll forward a little bit, place your hand on the foam roller, and just get into that kind of junky stuff, and then hit the lateral kind of posterior shoulder stuff. This is a great one to do. It's going to feel about as good as the IT band area does, so just know it's not going to feel too good. Okay? Now, that's hitting all the hip stuff, all the way down from the top to the knee like we talked about. Other things you can do is take a kettlebell, turn it upside down. You can put this foot here, just like such, and you're just going to roll through some of the medial gastroc stuff. Like I got a spot in here that I've been working on with this thing. It's just extra weight that's got a nice little point of work for you, just working all the way through down through the tissue, okay? You can do that on medial quad and just let it basically slide gently. It's just a good way to use a tool like a kettlebell to help get these muscles more, well, functioning better. You can do the same thing with the calf. This is kind of similar to the one that I showed you yesterday with the lacrosse ball and the yoga block, but kind of the same thing with the calf stuff. It's good. And then it's also good to get up in here and roll through the attachment of all the hamstrings and groin too. Similar to what I just did over there on the bar, but if you don't have a bar, this is one way that you can do what I did over on the bar. And if you get way out into this glute attachment on the IT band, this is good stuff, man. Good stuff if you're into self-infliction of pain. Ha! Okay, so we got that. You can also lay on top of this bad boy to hit the whole anterior front section of that groin. Again, same as the bar. Definitely more pointed than doing it on the foam roller like I just showed you. And just really working through all that groin stuff up in here where we get a lot of stuff as mountain bikers. We get a lot of this upper kind of groin stuff just because of the nature of the shifting of our pelvis as well as the cyclical nature of riding in general. Okay, so work through that. That's an awesome one. What else do I have for you? I'm going to repeat the stick because it's so simple. Again, just take a stick, massage stick that you can pretty much get anywhere now, or a 1/2 inch PVC pipe or anything, just roll through. One thing I want to share with you for my left knee stuff in surgery, I definitely had a lot of lateral stuff through this peroneal and lateral quad gastroc here. But what I discovered the other day in doing some different moves on the foam roller is I had a lot of upper anterior tib connection and peroneal stuff in here that was preventing this outside bone from moving well. Okay, so tibiofibula wasn't working well as a team, and it was putting extra stress on my the medial and lateral aspect of how my knee functioned. So I worked through here, and it's actually pretty sore today with just tearing through here with my fingers and with my stick, actually getting the lacrosse ball down and through here. But I found that this relieved a lot of this and this for me, so maybe it'll work for you that way too. But definitely go through your gastroc stuff, the medial quad, the top of the kneecap, and the lateral insertion of all that IT band and quad stuff. Don't forget to hit the hamstrings and the groin with this as well. I use it also for my lower back. And that, let's get closer. That kind of concludes today. Video number 2, going from knee up and ankle up to the knee, or hip down is another way to say it. So work on these, master these kinds of things, because these are the things that can instantly increase your performance without, well, just consider it a training boost, maybe even a turbo. If you try to constantly take care of your muscular tissue so that blood flow, neurological or nervous system flow to and from the muscle, from the brain, always helps, okay? So work on it. Help us with recovery, by the way, as we know. So that's your homework for today. Start mashing on yourself, going through that tissue. And like always, you know, give us a shout on either Facebook, or if you have any questions, info@enduromtbtraining.com. And check out our new site. It's pretty cool. We like it, and hopefully it's really clear and you can find some good information there. So you guys take care. We'll see you next time, and yeah, I'm out. See ya.